Hi, it's Rob Moore here from Progressive Property, and listen, in the last 3.5 years I've bought over 250 properties for myself, with my business partner, for clients, investors, ourselves, friends, family members. We've written the 2 best-selling property books in the property market, Make Cash in a Property Market Crash, and the 44 most closely guarded property secrets. We ran the biggest property event of the year, the Property Super Conference, recently, where we had James Khan as the headline speaker, and we raised over £20,000 for charity. I've also been on quite a lot of TV shows, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, BBC. Now, I don't say this to impress you in any way. I say this because, you know, with the knowledge I'm going to give you in the next 8 minutes, and also the interviews I've got for you on the other side of this page, I think it's important for us to get to know each other and for you to know that I can help you get to where you want to be with your cash flow goals and your investing goals. So let me give you a few really effective, easy tips that you can use right now to cash flow property investment, even if you don't buy the properties. So this is for you if you are new to property, or you've bought property but you bought property the old way, you know, with deposits in and stuff like that, or with cash, or you've run out of cash and you want to leverage and be able to invest and attract cash flow without too much of an investment. If that's the case, you want to carry on watching. If you're an expert and you bought 50 properties, well, in fact, the next strategy I've got will really help you as well, so why don't you just stay with me for a minute. So, I'm going to teach you something called the aging technique, which is a free strategy that you can use right now with zero experience and go out and get deals. And when I say deals, I mean one of the following. Motivated sellers, so people who want to sell their property to you 28 to 50% below market value, which obviously is a great thing for you to do at the moment. I'm talking about leads, so qualified or unqualified leads that you can either convert into deals or you can sell the leads on. I'm talking about lease option type deals, tenant buyer type deals that you can both cash on. And if you don't know what those are, don't worry, I'm going to explain in a minute. So, if you've got no deposit, or you can't get a mortgage, or your credit is completely shot, then there are strategies around lease options, and getting tenant buyers that can enable you to control an asset without actually buying it or raising a mortgage on it. And if you leave your details below, I'm going to explain that whole process in a 1-hour interview with one of our expert lease options trainers who's done, now updated, I think when we did the interview she'd done 60 odd lease option deals. She's now done 80 lease option deals that all pay her a fee of around about £3,000 to £5,000 per deal, so work out the maths on that. And also averaging £250 per month cash flow on each deal. So again, you can work out the kind of numbers. Now sure, she's been doing it 2 or 3 years, but of course you'll get there as well in your own time. So don't expect it to be get rich quick or change overnight, but with a little bit of work, over the next 4 to 8 weeks, you can radically change the direction of your finances. So I'll tell you what else I'm going to give you on the other side of the page in a minute, but when I come back to this aging technique, it's really cool. Literally, if you get your local property paper, so maybe on every Wednesday in your area there'll be the property section, or if you get your local papers, they're probably what, 30, 40, 50p each, something like that. Buy the ones with the property sections in, the for rent or the for sale. Now depending on your area, that'll be every other day or every day or twice a week. And this is what you do. Now most people don't have a clue what to do about the ads that are in there and all the leads that are actually in there. You age the newspaper, so you just put them to the side and you do it for at least a month. So you just stack them up in date order so that the oldest one stays at the top and the youngest one goes at the bottom, and you just wait. Because in property, so many people don't get the deals because they're trying to deal or negotiate with people who aren't motivated to sell. Now there are probably only, I'd say, 5 to 10% of any vendor that you're going to find. That percentage is going to be motivated or desperate or distressed or whatever. The other 90% aren't motivated by the sale price. They don't have financial troubles, they don't have needs, they don't fit one of the 7 motivations, therefore they're not going to sell to you. This aging strategy, what it does is it filters all these leads for you. So let's say you're in week 5 and week 6 and you pick up a newspaper at the top and you go into the for sale section to find your 25 to 50% below market value discounts. Now, the great thing about this is they're all pre-qualified for you now, because let's say you phone 10 numbers. If you did this on day 1, you're going to get through to 10 people, or most of them are going to be wasting your time. 9 of them aren't motivated, and you'll be spending your time on them, speaking to them, but there'll be no deal there because they're not motivated. You either need those properties to sell, so that when you phone them up, they say, oh, it's sold, okay, no problem. or you want them still there after 6 or 8 or 12 weeks, because the longer the property's on the market, the more motivated they are, the more closer they might be getting to repossession. Now, you've got to be ethical with repossessions, but if you can help people out of financial troubles, you will get bigger discounts. And what you do over time by aging these newspapers, almost like the more yellow and brown they go, the better they are. You've pre-qualified all the old rubbish leads, the ones that weren't motivated to sell, that, you know, are fine on the open market but you don't want. But all the ones you do get through to, they're much more likely to sell to you. And that's in the for sale section. And you know what, there are so many property experts that don't even do this, and I'm thinking it's crazy because it's virtually free. Then in the for rent section, you can do the same, and you can find the motivated landlords. Because imagine you're a landlord. Imagine it now, and you've been sitting there trying to rent your property out, and you put some ads in the newspapers, and you go to some letting agents, and in 8 weeks you still haven't rented out. That could have cost you 1,200 quid. You're a motivated landlord. You might get distressed. You might want to drop your rent, so you could source tenants for them. Or even better, you might become one of those sort of accidental distressed landlords where, you know, it's been empty so long, or you haven't got a response, and, you know, you either want to sell the property at a discount, or you would accept what's called a long-term lease or a tenant buyer. A tenant buyer is literally someone who can't get on the property ladder because they can't get a mortgage or they can't get a deposit. Now, you know there are lots of people out there like that. But what you do is you enable them to become the buyer in the future by not having to front all of the deposit now, so 10 or 15 grand. You charge them a fee of, say, 3,000, and you charge them a little bit more on the rent, and over time they accrue the deposit and you make profit, and all these first-time buyers who can't get on the ladder can get on the ladder, and you can make a cash-flowing business out of this with not too much work. And again, I'm not going to give you fluff and BS. There is some work involved in this. I would say 5 hours a week is what you realistically need to do. Okay, then there's packaging deals. There are 11 ways to package up any deal that you don't necessarily want to create income. And when I say income, I mean between £3,000 and £10,000 a month. So I'm just going to reel some off. And again, to the other side of this page, you're going to find far more information. So you've got qualified leads and unqualified leads. So if you had someone who left their details, that would be an unqualified lead. You can sell that for £20 to £60. And I can show you how to do that. A qualified lead you can sell for 200 to 300. So you actually don't even have to do the deal if you don't want. You can sell the leads on. That's just 2 out of 11 ways. You can do finder's fees, pre-packaged deals. You can do portfolio building. You can use mortgage hosting. You can use joint ventures. There are so many different ways of packaging up a deal. If you found a deal, but it was 20% below, instead of 30% like you might want, you can sell that for a £3,000 finder's fee. And if you come on the other side, there are resources on our blog and on our website that teach you how to do that, teach you where to find the hungry joint venture partners. Because you must know now that with no one getting cash in the bank and inflation going up and all that kind of thing, anyone who has money is maybe like yourself, motivated because you're not earning in the bank. You can't sit it in the bank because it's going down at 4% a year. So anyone who was getting 6-8% maybe 3 years ago on the interest, now getting -3 or 4, that's almost a 10% shift. That's, you know, if you were living on that income from the cash, you no longer have any more income. So at lots of networking events, a lot of progressive property events that we hold, we encourage networking and we attract joint venture partners who want to invest their funds because maybe they don't have the time or the resource or the desire that you do. So I just want to tie it up here. Leave your details below. On the other side, I'm going to give you that lease options interview that I told you about, where you can monetize £3,000 to £9,000 a month without a deposit, without a mortgage, even if you've got shot credit. I'm also going to give you 1 hour's estate agents interview, teaching you how to go into estate agents, build rapport, and get the bottom drawer deals within 4 to 6 weeks. We have a blueprint for that. So see you on the other side.